The Sony A75 will be announced in mid-October, at least according to a news source. Will it be innovative or a recycling of parts from the parts bin? Click subscribe and we'll get right to it. It means more to us than the Canon EOS R5 Mark II does to a Canon shooter. Hi, I'm Simon, your friendly camera-toting news hound who scans the news and rumor sites so that you don't have to, saving you time for more important things like binge-watching chick flicks with your wife. Sony Alpha rumors came out today suggesting that the Sony A75 could be announced on October the 16th, a Thursday, at the B Alpha event in Barcelona, Spain. That, folks, is just 4 years after the A74 was announced back in 2021 on October the 21st. And I give Sony credit for not announcing the A75 on a Sunday, like Canon. Well, assuming Sony is going to be announcing the A75 on October the 16th, which I'm not exactly sure they will, and that Canon goes ahead and announces a camera on a Sunday in November, as Canon Rumors has claimed with 99% certainty, as well as a second announcement falling on US Thanksgiving. I just can't imagine any company that's proud of their gear to make an announcement on Sunday of all days. Now, usually if a company wants to bury news, like bad earnings or something really bad, well, they're going to put that out on a Friday afternoon, like 4 or 4:30. And then by the time Monday rolls around, everyone's completely forgotten about it, or at least that's what the company hopes. Sunday? Yeah, that's kind of strange. But the focus on this video is on the Sony A75. It's important to note that Sony has not come forward with any teaser, and the event, well, if it's on B Alpha, is just 2 weeks away. And I know, Sony sometimes gives us as little as 24 hours notice, but this is the A75. The A74 was very, very popular, still is, and the A75 is the successor to that. This is not a camera that Sony wants to keep a secret. All we know for sure is what it looks like. And from the placement, size, and lettering of the buttons on the back of the A75, well, it's near identical to its predecessor, the A74. Oh, I almost forgot this one. This indicates that the A75 will have the near exact same resolution as the A74. And this really isn't a surprise. If we take a look at the competition, the Canon EOS R5 Mark II, well, take a look here. The button placement, the overall design and ergonomics is almost identical to the Mark I, with a slight change in some of the placement of the buttons. But what set the R5 Mark II apart from its predecessor wasn't the looks. It was the video specifications. They were drastically better, providing 16 plus stops of dynamic range, waveforms, false colors, making shooting and exposing video so much easier. And those color renditions in low light? Well, so much better than what anything could be provided in Canon Log 3. And that made grading so much easier. And the autofocus with the digic accelerator chip, similar to Sony's AI processing chip, was also in this camera, giving a much more accurate, much more consistent autofocus experience. Staying focused on the subject, even when temporarily hidden, and the ability to track the person with possession of the ball. This is a big plus for sports photographers. The same button placement, the overall design doesn't mean that this camera is getting a minor update from the parts bin. It could in fact be a huge update, an awakening of Sony from these minor iterations that we've seen since the A7S III. When I first saw these photos, I thought, it doesn't look that impressive. And really what the story they're kind of telling us is that, well, there's nothing new here in the design and in the photos. But keep in mind that Sony was the first to come out with an AI processing chip to provide much better autofocus, much more responsive autofocus, which we saw Canon duplicate in the the Canon EOS R5 Mark II. That digic accelerator chip is the same as Sony's AI processing unit. And that's what allows it to do more advanced things, such as tracking a subject that's got a basketball, a football, and then when that football's passed to somebody else, the autofocus immediately locks onto not the ball as it moves, but the person that now has possession. It locks onto their eyes, to their face, and that's great for both video shooters and, well, photographers as well. at this point, I would advise a bit of caution. I wouldn't get disappointed. I wouldn't get too excited, other than you're going to know very, very soon. We just have to wait. We don't really have any credible leak specs at this point, and I know that's frustrating. We don't have any teaser video, no teaser poster, and no scheduled YouTube event. Why is that interesting? Well, again, we're 2 weeks away, and we would expect to see something very, very soon. Now, as far as 2025 goes, it's pretty common that cameras are announced from the middle of September after Labor Day all the way up until the end of October. Now, sometimes we get announcements in November, but it's usually that first week of November, because what starts to happen is worldwide is you start to encounter many significant holidays. And in the United States, you have Thanksgiving in that last week. This is not a minor holiday. It's almost reminiscent of what the Chinese do for the new lunar year, where there's a mass migration, and you get that mass movement of people in the United States that usually starts in the days leading up to Thanksgiving. And what happens the day after Thanksgiving? Well, you have Black Friday. So now everybody's thinking about shopping for Christmas, and so that becomes a very, very big time. So the prime time for announcements is actually October. And that last week of October is where quite often we see many big announcements, not the minor announcements that we see earlier in September. This is when we see cameras like the Z9 being announced. This is when we see incredible lenses like the Canon RF 200 to 800 millimeter, the RF 10 to 20 millimeter. October is a very big month. November, things start to slack off a little bit. So just keep in mind that the A74 is Sony's biggest seller, and it's been 4 years since it's been refreshed. The A75 is Sony's most anticipated camera in years. The Sony A75 isn't going to be buried in any sort of press release or announced on a Sunday. Sony's going to shout it out from on high. We can expect at least a week's notice, and it is coming soon. We'll advise you as soon as we know the exact date and time and provide you with live coverage of the event. Now, if you happen to know anything, if you've overheard anything that you can share with us, please do reach out to us at simondyates@gmail.com, because many other viewers would love to know. And if you are interested in pre-ordering the Sony A75 when it comes out, then please do me a favor. Please use my smart pre-order links in the description down below. I have smart pre-order links for the United States for B&H, Adorama, Wex in the UK, and hopefully by the time we have the announcement of the Sony A75, I will have European representation, perhaps Germany or France. I'm working on that right now. And if anybody's in Australia and can help me out, so far I haven't been able to find any retailers that do any sort of affiliate program, so please reach out there. And of course, once we have the exact date and time, I will schedule my own video 1 hour before Sony's to provide you with a live coverage talking about the latest leaked specifications, leaked photos, pricing, and who this camera is designed for. The main delta change from the predecessor to the A7R5 and all that wonderful stuff. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for using my affiliate links in the past. It's very much appreciated. This channel is very much viewer supported. You're literally helping to keep the lights on, the key light, the fill light, and of course the accent lights behind. All kidding aside, thank you so much for your support. Have yourself a great day, a great weekend, and we'll see you again soon. I've already got a video shot and ready for Monday.